We all make mistakes, don't we? It's part of being human. There's a character in the House of the Dragon who has made many mistakes, often with grave repercussions. In today's video, we'll discuss the 10 greatest mistakes that Daemon Targaryen, the very definition of a wild card in the House of the Dragon, has made. First up, here are the 10 greatest mistakes that Daemon Targaryen made in the House of the Dragon Season 1. Season 1 of the House of the Dragon ended with a bang. Rhaenyra is now queen, but quickly experiences severe setbacks, including Lucerys passing. It appears that one member of Rhaenyra's retinue will finally receive what he has been seeking, because there is no other road forward for the Blacks, except for one steeped in bloody revenge. Daemon Targaryen is a ruthless and capricious renegade who frequently acts without thinking about the repercussions of his actions. However, he frequently causes long-lasting consequences that may worsen than he initially intended. After all, many of Daemon's worst errors have resulted in a full-fledged civil war. Now, let's dig into some of Daemon Targaryen's mistakes. One mistake was refusing to deny insulting Viserys' son. Daemon decided to throw a party for his gold cloaks, following the passing of Queen Aemma and her stillborn son Balon. To celebrate so soon, after the passing of half of Viserys' family, was already a gesture of extreme discourtesy. But according to Otto, he got up and called Balon heir for a day. Given his tendency to lie to further his objectives, there is no way to determine if Daemon said the statement, but he refused to dispute it. Viserys was utterly incensed by it, resulting in Daemon losing his position as heir. It was entirely a self-inflicted wound for Daemon, easily avoidable. Another mistake was refusing Viserys help in the Stepstones. Daemon, who has always been haughty, became so enraged that he nearly killed a messenger when he realized that his brother would be arriving to save the day. Daemon was completely irrational for failing to realize that the war in the Stepstones was one of the most crucial conflicts in Targaryen's history. Viserys wasn't at the event to disparage his brother. As an act of love and solidarity, rather than disdain, he extended a helping hand to the man. Daemon, however, was unconvinced and chose to embark on a quest that might have ended in his demise instead of accepting it. By doing this, he was showing complete disrespect for the king and a lack of faith in Viserys. Flirting with Rhaenyra was another mistake. Daemon shouldn't have been teasing the king's daughter, since he was the crown prince of Westeros, but he kept giving her presents, asking her to go places with him, and saying things that were not meant for a normal niece. Daemon is one of Rhaenyra's most important allies before a battle, but it doesn't give him the right to treat her with the disrespect he did when she was a child. It was also a blunder that led Viserys to banish him again, which eliminated Daemon's opportunity to keep a presence in King's Landing. Taking Rhaenyra to a brothel was also a mistake. Daemon never contented himself with a mere flirtation with Rhaenyra, despite being aware of the potential repercussions for maidens in brothels in Westeros. He quickly escorted her there. It might have resulted in Rhaenyra losing her inheritance, being slain, or even being banished. She told one of her most ludicrous falsehoods by pretending he never even touched Rhaenyra after he professed to have slept with her. Daemon was extremely fortunate that Viserys was a forgiving brother and a caring father, because it could have easily ended with both deaths. Not informing Rhaenys about Laenor was another mistake of Daemon. Daemon staged the death of Laenor Velaryon, a move that easily could have resulted in the Blacks losing the backing of one of the most significant houses in the House of the Dragon. Soon after the passing of their daughter, poor Rhaenys and Corlys Velaryon were left to grieve their son's loss. It was obvious that Rhaenys had a long-standing grudge against the Blacks after learning of her son's purported remains. Rhaenys would not have needed the Blacks to rely on her sympathy to win her over if Daemon had simply told her the truth. She may have even murdered the Greens in the Dragon Pit, preventing a battle from starting. Another mistake of Daemon's was marrying Rhaenyra immediately after Laenor's death. Given how they behaved in the aftermath of Laenor's presumed demise, Rhaenys might have declined to side with them. They didn't just wait to get married. They insulted Rhaenys' dead child outright by getting married soon after the body was found. Rhaenys perceived it as an insult to Laenor's memory, which made it even worse. Daemon and Rhaenyra easily could have waited a few weeks, at the very least, until their children were no longer wearing mourning clothing, as there was no practical time constraint. Rhaenys had a long-standing dislike for Daemon and Rhaenyra because of how offensive it was to them. Not guarding Vhagar was another mistake he made. Aemond approached the powerful dragon, Vhagar, during Laena's funeral and demanded to have her for himself. It was easy to anticipate that someone might try to claim the biggest dragon in the realm, even if only book readers knew what Aemon would do to Luke. Vhagar was utterly abandoned for any dragon rider to come and take, despite Daemon's responsibility to erect a guard to keep her safe. It was absurd to think that with so many Targaryens and Valerians in one location, no one would want a strong dragon like her. Dragons without a Targaryen rider should have been, at the very least, guarded. Daemon also made the mistake of making Otto Hightower his enemy. Otto Hightower, a second son with no holdings or inheritance of his own, was able to establish himself as one of the most influential individuals in the kingdom. Otto, frequently misunderstood, served under the suzerainty of kings Jaehaerys and Viserys before serving King Aegon II. It was a mistake for Daemon to designate Otto as his enemy because of how strong the man was. Daemon's status as the heir could have been preserved if they had merely cooperated. Instead, he had the hand of the king band together to oppose him, a dangerous strategy that disastrously backfired. Another mistake he made is that he didn't spend sufficient time with Viserys. Daemon undoubtedly loved his brother, but he was never very good at expressing it. He was always keeping Viserys at a distance, even if it meant insulting him, putting his daughter's life in danger, or spending decades apart from the man. It undoubtedly had an impact on their union. Viserys deserved a supportive brother who cared about him beyond pride and ambition. Daemon should have been there for Viserys in the end, given how much it devastated him to learn of his brother's passing. Sadly, he was never the support Viserys required, and as a result, they both suffered, as did the realm. Letting Luke go to the Storm's End was also a mistake. The biggest error Daemon made was to do nothing to prevent Rhaenyra from sending his stepsons as envoys. Daemon should have known that the Greens would send their envoys because he had previously witnessed how much Aemon detested his nephews. Luke shouldn't have been left alone without the Blacks knowing Aemon's location. It was assumed that he would try to kill Luke, since he had already been prepared to kill Jace with a rock. It was an extremely bad miscalculation that ultimately led to civil war. Next up, does Daemon Targaryen have a connection to the Mad King? How is the Mad King linked to Daemon Targaryen?
He can keep his tongue.
The fantasy television show House of the Dragon has transported us to a Westeros devoid of conflict and bloodshed. That's a stretch. Of course, there is still a lot of murder and bloodshed, but overall, life under the Targaryen family's rule is rather tranquil and considerably quieter than it was under Robert Baratheon. But all of that is about to change. Rhaenyra Targaryen was disinherited in a plot hatched by Otto Hightower and the Greens to install Aegon II Targaryen as king. This betrayal will start a civil war in the realm and plant the seeds for the eventual downfall of the House of the Dragon. Many fans want to know how these Targaryens of bygone era are related to the Game of Thrones characters we all know and love, because there is a century or two between the events of the new TV series and those of the old program. The Targaryen family tree is challenging to translate because it resembles a circle more than a tree, but we believe we have it down. So, this is how Daemon Targaryen and the Mad King are connected. The Mad King has a direct ancestry in Daemon Targaryen, notably in the form of the latter's great-great-great-great-grandfather. The Mad King, also known as Aerys II Targaryen, was the son of Jaehaerys II Targaryen. If you wanted to determine the precise bloodline, Jaehaerys was Maekar I Targaryen's grandson and Aegon V Targaryen's son. The father of Maekar was Daemon II, who in turn was the son of Aegon IV, also known as Aegon the Unworthy. Viserys II was Aegon IV's father and Daemon Targaryen's son, whom we saw last in the TV series as a newborn. And there you have it, the 10 biggest mistakes that Daemon Targaryen has made so far, and how he's related to the Mad King. What other series or characters do you want us to feature? Inform us in the comments section. Please like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Bye.